Is it possible to complete Fallout 3 by only using reverse pickpocketing to defeat enemies? This is a pretty interesting challenge that I thought I'd take a crack at because I haven't seen it done for Fallout 3, only New Vegas, so now I'm going to design my character and we'll find out soon enough. A face only a mother would love, and she's about to die. I put my special skills in luck, agility, and perception with an emphasis on luck because the sneak system in this game is absolute bullshit. I took 2 points off of strength because we don't really need to use it. I'm not going to be carrying a lot of items, and I kept my endurance at 5 because we will be taking a lot of punishment. And speaking of punishment, I had to endure this lame-ass, corny birthday party that was held by all these vault dwellers in this little kitchen. I couldn't even stand it. I got some crummy little fucking sweet roll, and I got chased around by Butch, who threatened to kick my ass. On the bright side though, I did get a BB gun, which I thought was pretty cool. Unfortunately, my run was instantly ruined because Dad made me kill a fucking cockroach with the BB gun instead of giving me a frag grenade to put in its pocket. Oh well, I guess this concludes the video. Just kidding, the show must go on. But really, Dad, I'll get my revenge someday. Just you wait. Before I knew it, the years flew by to a new generation, where I found myself in the Vault 101 classroom, trying to pass so I can get my GED. Thank God for affirmative action, because I sure as hell wouldn't have passed this test without it. Our tags are pretty self-explanatory. You could really switch barter and medicine out, it doesn't matter, but we will be buying and selling a lot of stuff. One wet dream later, I'm awoken by Amada who tells me that my dad has left the vault, so I guess I have to go on this quest to find him. He is Liam Neeson after all. At least, that was the excuse I gave her. Really, I just want to wreak havoc on the Wasteland, so I quickly gathered my things and prepared myself for my escape, but not before I told Butch and his mom to fuck off.
You're a real
The vault escape was easy as pie. I managed to pickpocket the overseer's password while his guards were looking at me, and after that there were no further distractions to be had. It was just smooth sailing from there. Well, there were 2 distractions left, but they weren't too bad as their mosquito dick damage did not prohibit me from escaping the vault. And before I knew it, I was home free and ditched this vault of dickheads. Little does the capital Wasteland know that a horror has just been unleashed on them. Soon they will find out the true power of reverse pickpocketing. But first, I need to level up. It's crucial that I max out Sneak as soon as possible, especially when we don't need to spend a lot of points elsewhere. As for our first perk, I picked Swift Learner so we can level up much faster. Approaching Megaton, I met my first trader of the game where I was able to offload any items that I didn't need that I acquired from Vault 101. We're going to do 3 quests in Megaton: Blood Ties, Wasteland Survival Guide, and the Power of the Atom. These 3 quests will allow us to level up very quickly. As soon as I entered Megaton, I immediately ran to the nuke so I could disable it, giving me a lot of free XP and even a key to the Megaton house, which I can get free purified water and a bed to sleep in. It's a pretty good deal if you ask me. I was already level 3 and continued pouring my skills into Sneak and chose the Swift Learner perk again. This perk has a maximum of 3 levels and I'll be taking all of them at the beginning to maximize its use. The town crackhead Moira Brown offers the Wasteland Survival Guide quest. We're not going to complete the whole quest, we're just going to do a portion of it, as much as we can do, just to get the rewards that she offers, and there are some very good rewards that we'll need to progress through the game. I also find my first bottle cap mine in the game. This is a very powerful weapon and it can be found at almost any workbench in the world. Besides drinking Flint's tap water, the fastest way to become irradiated is to drink Megaton's water, which will give us 20 rads per second depending on which spot we're standing in. Now I can turn in this piss easy quest and get to the real stuff. We're just doing the menial stuff for now, but later on the game's really gonna kick off. Now we can head on over to Minefield. Minefield's a very crucial part of this early game because we can stock up on plenty of frag mines, as well as getting some frag grenades as a quest reward. But before we head over to Minefield, we'll need to go to the secret stash behind Megaton, which has the game's first stealth boy. We'll need it to fight Arkansas, as he has a pretty high perception. At least I think he does, because even with my high sneak skill, I still get detected by him. The trick to avoid getting blasted at Minefield is to stay away from the cars, because Arkansas will shoot at them automatically as soon as you get near them, which will trigger the other neighboring landmines, causing a chain reaction. So you really want to stay in the houses and sneak around, and really, I can't wait to get my revenge against this fucking cunt, because I actually ended up crippling one of my limbs. You would think that this old lunatic was guarding a depository of gold, but no, he's just guarding a smoldering ruin filled with landmines dotting the landscape. This asshole's existence completely justifies him being the first victim of this run. All it took to defeat Arkansas was a stealth boy and one wrong move. I mean, seriously, look at this fucking dumbass. He tried to flank me and he ended up getting fucking blasted. Enjoy retirement, you high-me fuck. Now give me your shit. Now that I've completed this portion of the chapter, I sold all my unwanted items back at Megaton and then started the Blood Ties quest. This is another easy quest that we can finish relatively quickly, and Arafu is not very dangerous to get to. Outside of Springvale, I visited the home of one of Moriarty's former prostitutes. She thought I was sent by Moriarty himself to kill her. She was half right, of course. This was a blown-out back she wouldn't recover from. I was able to make a few caps from Doc Hoff, who was at the entrance of Arafu. This is a very common trader spot, as you'll find. And then I met Evan King, who couldn't do the job of knocking on 3 house doors in his own fucking neighborhood, and he made me do the job. I shouldn't complain though, because I did get closer to completing my goal, and Evan King wasn't really a bad guy. He was just looking out for his citizens as I was just looking out for myself, but anyway, a job's a job. From my detective work, I was easily able to identify these mangled bodies that were sucked dry by a homosexual vampire known as Ian West. I quickly realized that things were getting out of hand, as Ian West was apparently kidnapped by a roving gang of vampire LARPers. This was getting pretty interesting. I had to know more about this gang. The fastest way to find the family is through Northwest Seneca Station in a manhole that's guarded by 2 junkies. One of them is named Murphy, who wanted me to fucking find his recipe for Ultrajet. I told him, sure, I'll find the recipe for you, but not before I explode you and your boyfriend to smithereens. Let this be a lesson to any NPC that tries to send me out on a fetch quest within 5 seconds of me meeting them. Anyways, through the manhole we go, we'll end up in a small cave that has 2 mirelurks in it. They're really not a big deal, they're pretty easy to dodge, and they don't really follow you. What's really dangerous are the traps that lie ahead. We have a grenade trap that you can easily fall into, and there are a couple of shotgun traps, a few landmines here and there, and bear traps. We don't want to go into those bear traps, so we'll have to do our best to avoid them. At the end of the trap-filled tunnel, we meet Robert, the gatekeeper for the family, who we easily bypass just by showing him Lucy West's letter. But before we move on, we're just going to steal some things. There are a lot of valuable items here: caps, stimpaks, ammo, and even some weapons that have a pretty high value for trade. So we're just going to spend some time here, wait for Robert to go to bed, and then do our business. Reverse pickpocketing Robert was pretty tempting, but out of respect for Evan King and for the sake of completing this quest without bloodshed, I backed off. This is Robert's luckiest day on this earth, and he doesn't even realize it. Inside the family's den, there's a little shopping area to the north where I was able to steal plenty of items uncontested. I'm not sure where that guy selling the stuff was. I think his name was Carl, but he was definitely asleep at the wheel, allowing me to just take his shit. This guy is probably losing his business and all of his money because he doesn't want to pay to keep his stuff guarded. Well, it doesn't matter now, does it? I'm just taking it off his hands. Everything must go, as they say. It's a good thing this isn't Skyrim, where we wouldn't be able to sell our stolen goods and, hey, look who it is! Hey buddy, we were just talking about you. The leader of these weirdos is none other than Vance, who I quickly found out is actually trying to brainwash Ian West into becoming a bigger cock goblin than he is. Although I have to give Vance credit. He might be a strange individual, but he has an open mind and he's willing to listen to reason, engaging in open dialogue with even strangers that enter his house uninvited. The only thing we need to do to get on Vance's good side is to read his terminal of all the vampire role-playing rules that he has in place. It'll make him happier than a clam because he allows us to see Ian West without any further interruption, giving us the password for the terminal that locks his door. Now we can speak with Ian West, and once again there really is no challenge. No speech skill, all we have to do is show him the letter that his sister wrote for him. To put it bluntly, you can sleepwalk through this quest and still complete it. There are really no challenges of any kind, and it's very quick and easy to accomplish, which is why we're doing it first before finding dear old Dad. And of course Vance wants to know how our conversation went, and I told him that he's no longer in training to become a homosexual goblin. This, of course, saddens Vance, but he understands the greater scheme of things. Because more importantly, I've arranged a deal between Arafu and the family. Arafu would bring blood packs to the family so they could continue their fetish of blood play, and Arafu would be protected by any incoming threats in the future. And besides the shish kebab schematics, Vance was able to give me a bottle cap mine that he left on this workbench over here. We'll need it. Thank you, Vance. Back at Arafu, Evan King received word from Ian West that all is well and that he shouldn't worry anymore. Good, because I could finally get my reward and level up once more where we can allocate our points. For this level up, I'm going to put a few points in explosives and put the rest in sneak. You don't need a high explosives for this run because reverse pickpocketing does a lot of damage by itself. And for our perk, we're going to choose the last rank of Swift Learner to fully maximize its effectiveness. Which means we can scratch our nose and effectively make the same XP we would earn doing a quest. Now that we've completed Blood Ties, we're going to go a little off the board and just start exploring the world. I decided to head east, around near the DC area near Rivet City, but first we're going to pay a visit to Doc Church. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me borrowing his items. After all, I am a very sick individual and I need assistance. The doc checked out, and I checked in, taking my much-needed first aid supplies from his cookie pantry, and oh, I think he's waking up. Too late, Doc. You've lost this round. Go back to sleep before you get hurt. Continuing my journey eastward, I decided to make haste for Rivet City. I stopped by Willem's Wharf, which sat right on the Potomac River. Usually there are super mutants and raiders fighting each other from across the river, but it was all quiet for now. I didn't complain. Willem's Wharf had a pretty good wealth of items early game, so I decided to just stop by and make myself at home, taking anything that I saw. I stole as much as I could carry and as much as I desired. I really don't care about the karma system in this game. It's so shit. It is so flawed, and it's one of the things that I'm glad is no longer in Fallout 4. And I tried to pickpocket Grandma, but apparently Granny has the sixth sense because she detected me here, so I just retreated. On the bridge to the Anchorage War Memorial, I encountered the frag mine random encounter, which is really strange. I think this game is trying to tell me something, but for some reason I can't quite put my finger on it. So I just stopped to take them all and then carried on to plunder the next victim's house that was nearby. I dropped by Dukov's place and then dropped a grenade in his pocket, ending him and his entire harem in one fell swoop. This place now belongs to me. Alcohol and all. This will make for a nice little hideout outside of Megaton because it's stocked with food and drink and the like. And I think we can all agree that it beats living in that rusty tub Rivet City. A few minutes later, I found the Citadel, the old remains of the Pentagon from way back when. But we're going to be going to the Arlington Library, which is right next door. There's a cleverly hidden stealth boy in the main lobby, as well as 2 pre-war books that we can find and then sell for 200 caps. It's not a requirement to get these books at all. I'm just doing it because I'm in the neighborhood and I thought I would just make some easy money because it doesn't take that long, you know. But we can use it as a failsafe, so to speak, in case you want to bribe an official or maybe pay some debts off. Yeah, the possibilities are endless. You can never have too much money. We're just gonna sweet talk with Scribe Yearling because if we get on her bad side, she'll actually become hostile and kick us out of the library, and we don't want that. So besides the stealth boy that's in the lobby, there are a few weapons that we can find inside the other rooms. I ended up finding a scoped magnum, I believe, but there's the stealth boy right on this counter here. It could be very easy to run by, because stealth boys are really small in this game. But it doesn't hurt taking a look at these weapons. They're no doubt left by the Brotherhood, but it's ours now. We need it more than they do. I took a moment to repair some of my weapons because I collected a lot of duplicates and wanted to lighten the load, but I could only repair my hunting rifle because the repair system in this game is also retarded. There's a scripted fight over here between the Brotherhood and some raiders that are trapped inside the library's main room, but we're not going to do anything. We're just going to sit back and just watch the fight unfold. Because, I mean, what else are we going to fucking do, you know? I can't do anything. I have to sneak and put a grenade in their pocket, but that's not possible. So, you know, just sit back and watch this. There's no narration required. I'm just gonna break the fourth wall for a bit and, you know, talk to you guys. How are you guys doing today? Enjoying the video so far? Yes? No? If it's a no, I can understand. Really, I know. I understand completely. It's not as fancy as the other videos, you know, that other guy's videos, you know. Outstanding mic quality. Really short videos. Lots of, you know, 5-star editing here and there. But, you know, gets the job done. This, oh yeah, here are the 2 books, by the way. They're just right next to these ammo boxes. And let's return them for that easy money we were talking about earlier. Now that we got the 200 caps in our pocket and some XP, we're just going to continue along the road here. Our route is going to go down all the way to that river boat that takes us to Point Lookout, and then we're going to swim around the shoreline of the Jefferson Memorial, effectively going up to Rivet City. This is a pretty safe route because there's really no resistance on the way, unless of course you get too close to the memorial, then you'll get some pot shots from the super mutants, but it's still not so bad. It's still not so bad. So, we just swim to the edge here, carefully sneaking by. Super mutants don't chase you very far. They'll shoot you, but they won't really chase you. They'll just grow tired of you and go to the next victim. They're not like mole rats. I hate mole rats, you know that? I just hate them. I hate their ugly face. I hate the fact that they follow you and they're like, meh, meh. I don't like them. They're ugly. And they look like shriveled penises in Fallout 4, too. And anyway, getting to Rivet City, we attract a couple of fans, including this one over here. Apparently they do like to chase. I guess he wanted a hug. He was feeling upset. Because he realized he lost his dick in the FEV dipping. So, I mean, I can't blame him. That would be horrible. I'm sorry. On the bright side, we finally reached that rusty tub, Rivet City, where there's a wealth of items to steal and quests to complete. We also meet the two-toned Harkness monster here, who is totally not a synth at all by any means. He kind of bullies us, but, fuck him. But the bottle cap mine we find in the market right when we enter is worth the bullying. This market's great because there's plenty of salesmen here, so you'll never run out of caps to buy from them. And we're going to start with Flack, who has a wealth of weapons. And we're just going to take all of his money by selling the weapons that we've had. The assault rifle and Chinese assault rifle garner us a ton of caps. So right here we're just robbing him dry. And onwards to the next victim. The esteemed Mr. Bannon, who's on the city council. I'm about to take all your money, Mr. Bannon, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Just look at his face in the background. He's just frozen in fear as he's slowly going bankrupt from this stranger. And then next up is Cindy Cantelli, this junkhead who owns her own fucking store, and we're going to take her caps too. because Lord knows she'll probably spend them on another dose of Psycho, and Jet when she's beating her husband into pulp. I swear, Rivet City is like the ground zero for douchebag characters in this game. There's just so many of them, and they're all crowded in Rivet City. And speaking of douchebag characters, we have Dr. Lee, who informs us that she thought that James from Vault 101 sent us here. I have no idea why she would think that, or why James would send us here when we have absolutely nothing to do with this project, but we're just gonna roll with it. She tells us to check the Jefferson Memorial because that's when she last heard of where James would be, but we're gonna do things ass backwards now that we have the Stealth Boy. Instead of going to the Jefferson Memorial, we're going to go to Super Duper Mart and complete the quest for the first chapter of the Wasteland Survival Guide. We could probably just run through all the enemies, collecting the food and medicine that we need to complete it, but we don't want to be amateurs. We want to actually do this reverse pickpocketing run cleanly, without any of that ballerina speedrunning bullshit. So let's just get this bobblehead and move on. Outside of Super Duper Mart, I was shot at by some raider I assumed was from a random encounter, so I just retreated inside because she wouldn't follow me. You'll find that Super Duper Mart is very linear with the sneak approach, and what I mean by linear is that really all you have to do is just hug the wall. There's really no tactic that you need to come up with for sneaking around Super Duper Mart. See, we already have the food in this section that we need to find for the first half of the quest. And all it involves is immediately turning right and sneaking. And really just hugging through the walls, because raiders don't patrol around close to this area. They patrol on the top of the shelves, and you'll see one raider here soon just walking near the front door of this far area where we can find the key in the box. But other than that, it's not extremely difficult. But we will need to pop a Stealth Boy because we'll need that as a blanket for this bullshit sneak system. I just had to make sure I wasn't being followed. No one was looking at me. This one raider can be very annoying if you're not careful. And I actually forgot to take the key from the box here. It's just a strange place to put a key. Fuck this raider. But yes, on my right that I just passed by, the key is in there, and I don't know why I crippled, or how I crippled my limbs from that. That was really annoying. But here I put a bottle cap mine in the raider because I thought that it would get the other guy, but he decided to fucking walk away. The guy said, "Hi, how are you?" and then he just walked away. I don't like that at all. So now I had to spend my time being an idiot looking around. I couldn't pickpocket him. Strange reason, but I decided to walk back and get the key out of the box, wasting precious Stealth Boy time. A very sloppy run for something so simple, but yeah, like I said, it's just a really strange place to put the key. You know, you would think it would be in some kind of one of the raiders' pockets, but no, it's just some random metal box. It's not even marked either, but I just snuck by them. There was no reason to pickpocket this guy. I just thought, you know what? Oh, I was about to get caught there. He was about an ounce away from touching me. But there are plenty of items in here. I recommend you do this quest in full. You don't just find the food, because there's plenty of items in here, especially the quantum. If you're into making a lot of cash, then this is a great place to find the quantum. Selling it to Sierra Petrovita. I think that's her name. God, I can't believe I remember her full name. But we're just gonna run the fuck out of here. Or stealth run. Because I believe the Stealth Boy is about to run out soon. I probably have just enough to escape from Super Duper Mart. And before my Stealth Boy ran out, I was able to get my revenge on this crippled raider for shooting me before. And of course she returned the favor in kind by crippling 2 of my limbs after dying. I guess I'm the loser even when I win. Now that we're back at Moira's place, we can accept the new quest to go into the Mirelurk den and place the spying device on the Mirelurk clutch. It's really easy. You can cheese this quest to the max. You don't even have to go inside the Anchorage Memorial, or at least the bowels of the Anchorage Memorial. You can easily just go inside these 2 blast doors, walk 20 feet and just place it in some random clutch that's guarded by 1 little Mirelurk. And I'll show you in a moment. When I accept this quest, we're just going to level up here, place my points into sneak up till 80, and at this point I'm really having second guesses as to where to put my skills in. At this point I could have put it into medicine, but I decided to just cap my barter at 40 for now. And as for my perk, I decided to pick intensive training. The perks in this game are really one-dimensional, so that's an easy decision, and we'll put it into luck. And for this quest, all you have to do is fast travel to Tepid Sewers. It's right next to Dukov's place, and through the side of the Anchorage Memorial, there's a very easy lock on this blast door. An easy pick. And you go down this sewer hall and make a right, and there's this lone clutch. I mistook that one for a clutch, but over here you'll see a clutch of eggs, and you can easily just place the spying device there. And then I slept in my bed in Megaton, getting the well-rested bonus before I turn the quest in. That's 3 stealth boys in our inventory by completing this quest without killing a single Mirelurk. And speaking of brain-dead quests, we're going to have to cripple ourselves to advance in the Wasteland Survival Guide. Once again, we can just go outside and fall off the balcony, or, better yet, use one of our grenades and just cripple our limbs from that. It's that simple, but before we go outside, we're just going to bleed Moira dry of all her caps, selling all the ammo and weapons we've had stored in our inventory for a while. I was also trying to get rid of that mini nuke, but we'll get rid of that later. Anyways, let's go splatter our blood all over the Megaton architecture. First, we're going to just fall off the balcony, and then I realized, oh right, yeah, I can throw a grenade. What an idiot I am. I have all these explosives in my inventory, and it took me this long to realize, oh yeah, I could just throw a grenade at my feet. Yeah, it's that simple. Don't really have to jump off any heights. But, that was very painful. Both my legs were crippled. Completing this part of the chapter will give us the environmental suit. I don't use this suit on this playthrough, but it's a very nifty piece of clothing to have, especially if you don't have a lot of Radix or if you're going into a highly irradiated area like the Vault 87 hallway. But nonetheless, let's continue the search for Dad. On the way to the Jefferson Memorial, I met Crazy Wolfgang, who surprisingly wasn't that crazy. I traded some wares with him, making a couple of caps. He did have some interesting items for sale, but I didn't budge. Maybe for another playthrough. Soon I'm going to show you a little method that I created on this run. I call it the corral method. Basically, it involves you running through an area, attracting every enemy in the vicinity, and then corralling them back to the starting point, or whatever point you wish, and then activating the stealth boy, which will immediately make you hidden. This will allow you to not only save time with the stealth boy, but also come up with these big cluster kills with reverse pickpocketing, as you'll see shortly. Sneaking into the Jefferson Memorial was a complete failure, as the super mutant outside immediately detected me and started this high-speed chase within the memorial itself. Little did these morons know that I was actually setting them up for a genocide that none of these mutants would survive. All it took was me playing the part of a scared human, running through this building pretending that I was about to die. And of course I also embellished a little bit by acting like I was hiding. A meager effort from a stupid human, according to the super mutants, but my plan was being set in motion, and soon this memorial would be free of the super mutant threat. After running through the whole first floor, I retreated back to the main hallway where I activated my stealth boy. Now the fun will begin. The first victim was this lone super mutant who was just standing alone. Poor guy. Soon I was about to put him out of his misery. You could see another super mutant walk over to the next room where he began to talk with this bumbling idiot. Look at them two laughing. Yeah, laugh at this, you stupid assholes. And my next victim was in the next room where the first super mutant died. But I was just going to search these bodies, and I decided to get the other group of super mutants. Thank God they're very social because they like to stand together, which would allow for multiple kills in one grenade. Look at these idiots. They really are easy to kill. The last super mutant on this floor went to go inspect the damage, but thankfully it went back to hidden in only a few seconds. Unfortunately, you're going to die hoping for that fight, because you're about to get an ass full of shrapnel. Say hello to the master for me, bitch! There were 2 super mutants left, one was upstairs here and the other was downstairs. I decided to get the one upstairs first because it would have been easier taking care of the other super mutant. If I had gotten the one downstairs first, then this guy up here would have just come down the stairs and would have easily detected me. And my stealth boy, I think, ran out around here, so that would have been more difficult, which is why I went for the super mutant upstairs first. Just a little quick tip if you do this. According to the tapes I found, Dad is located far to the west in Vault 112, but before I made my way to Vault 112, I wanted to visit Tenpenny Tower to pay my respects to Mr. Tenpenny himself. On my way I met Tinker Joe, not to be confused with Tinker Tom, the black guy in that other Fallout game, and an obnoxious good-for-nothing zombie who was just asking for a grenade in his pocket, in which he actually got. Try standing all day after that, Roy Phillips, if that's even your real name. After offloading the spoils of war, I decided to schedule my meeting with Mr. Tenpenny, and I met the absolute worst security guard in existence. This guy actually got up from his chair after I told him I'll be back later, and to make matters worse, he left the key to the door right on this pedestal while he walked away. Look at this guy. What a lousy guard. I'm going to kill Mr. Tenpenny just in spite of that guy. And I did. You might not have been able to explode Megaton, but at least you'll go up in flames. After resting in Tenpenny Tower, now began the long day's journey into night, as I traveled to Vault 112 in search of my dad. He is Liam Neeson after all. And you'll come to find that mole rats are just as persistent as ghouls. Only I absolutely hate mole rats because they're just fucking annoying and ugly and I want to stomp their faces into puddles of gore, but unfortunately this run won't allow that. So I'll just have to avoid them by running around in circles like an idiot. Thankfully I didn't have to avoid these mole rats for much longer as I was just waiting for the door to open. I really hated how I flubbed opening that fucking first aid box to get those items, but, you know, you make some mistakes, you make some great plays. This is probably the creepiest vault that I've ever been into that was populated because everyone was being puppeteered by Von Braun, the genius behind this vault, who is also a suspected pedophile, as you'll see in a little bit. What kind of old man decides to roleplay as a little girl in 1950s America? Kinda creepy if you ask me, but who cares? We just leveled up and now we get to spend our skill points. We're going to level our sneak up to 95 and keep it at 95 because the shady hat that we have increases our sneak by 5 points, maxing it out. And of course we're going to put some points in barter. Or maybe not. We're not going to put some points in barter. I'll put some points in medicine. And as for my perk, I'll choose intensive training once more. Because I don't really like these perks. There's really not a lot of perk diversity in Fallout 3. So we have the excellent opportunity to increase one of our skills instead. In this case it'll be luck. We'll need all the luck we can get on this run. And rather than subdue myself to playing 1950s VR chat, I decided to do the failsafe in the abandoned house, which will allow us to activate the Chinese invasion simulator. Who the hell put this inside the VR chat? But I'm not complaining. I think it's pretty convenient because we don't have to go by Braun's bullshit tactics to pass this quest. As a matter of fact, we're going to leave him in this simulator alone. Forever. Leaving people alone in some realistic VR would be a pretty good punishment for even the worst criminals. They'd probably die of insanity within 1 month of being there. And for Braun, no punishment would be more fitting than this. Thankfully, Dad was safe and unharmed from the horrible VR experience we both witnessed. Well, it was another drop in the bucket of all the adventures that we've had up until this point. Although it had been a very long time since I had seen him, there was no time for chatter. We had to continue with our life's work, Project Purity, providing clean water for every member of this horrible, harsh wasteland. And somehow I was able to make that statement without laughing very hard. Anyway, we have to make our escape from this vault before anyone finds us here. Back at Rivet City, the group of pseudoscientists reunite, and we prepare ourselves to make our way back to the Jefferson Memorial, where we'll be greeted by super mutants. Yay, I love super mutants. But when I got there, no one was there. Only Garza showed up, and he was early on time, so I decided to just bullshit with him and share some stories of my journey. A couple hours later, those scientists finally arrived. Seriously guys, Rivet City is only a few miles away. It should not take you more than 5 hours to get here. Anyway, the break's over. It's time to get to work, and now we have to go back to the basement so we can clear out the remaining super mutant threat. This will be fun. After failing to sneak behind this one super mutant so I can kill him, I decided to repeat my tactics from earlier. I decided to just run away with the super mutants chasing me, crisscrossing around the map, and then corralling them all into one little area. It was a pretty good tactic, especially with the stealth boy that would allow you to go hidden instantly, even in front of enemies in some cases. So that's what I did. I just ran around the entire basement, just corralling all the super mutants together until I got lucky. Once again, I have to thank super mutants for liking the sound of their own voice because they love talking to each other. This allows for easy group kills once more. I decided to honor them by giving them a bottle cap mine. I made a minor error here because I should have pickpocketed the super mutant behind the one that I pickpocketed right here, because the one that I was pickpocketing here would have walked into the super mutant that was about to explode, getting a 2-for-1 kill, but I'm not going to complain. There were 2 more super mutants in the vicinity here, and I just rinse and repeated my tactics. I just waited for it to go hidden, because for some reason I can't kill them when I'm in caution. I have to wait until they're hidden and their weapons are put away. A very strange quirk in this game, but it didn't really stop me in this case. Here I'll give another bottle cap mine, which I shouldn't have done. Once again I made the same error I did just a minute ago. So I just have to wait out the storm here and wait for the super mutant to go hidden again, which won't take long, as you can see here. Once again, I don't know why. I have to wait for them to put their weapon away. But the last super mutant was in the hallway at the very end of the basement. I saw him just looking at the wall, daydreaming. So, I punished him by putting a grenade up his ass. Now that all the super mutants are dead down here, I can finally go up topside and see how everyone's doing. I hope they're safe. They weren't safe. After watching Dad pathetically fight super mutants for several hours, I knew it was time for me to intervene, and so I did. Dad, you really need to pick up a gun that's stronger than whatever the fuck you're using, cause it's obviously not working! As a reward for my bravery and gumption, my dad sends me back to the basement to do some menial work on the Jefferson Memorial's infrastructure. To be honest with you, I was not pleased. I just wanted to spend some time with my old man, just to get to know him, to know what kind of man he was, the journey he had, but no. He makes me do all this stupid shit just so he won't see my ugly school shooter face. And to make matters worse, Dad makes me go through these shit-infested intake pipes because, according to some egghead he works with, the pipes are blocked. Yeah, right, Dad. You just want to make me suffer. My revenge may come soon, it seems. Did I just say to make matters worse? No. This is what makes matters worse. The Enclave, the most technologically advanced group in the Wasteland, has now traveled all the way from California just to take control of this water purifier. Can my day suddenly get even worse than this? I guess it can. It can. This is what you get for making me kill that rad roach all those years ago. I hope you're happy with yourself. take the remaining time you have. Luckily, the fantastic Dr. Lee had an escape plan for us. We're going to go into a conveniently placed manhole inside the memorial, which includes a tunnel that will take us all the way to the Citadel. That is pretty cool. Lead the way, Dr. Lee. Already cowering? You know what? Fuck you. Never mind. I'm gonna lead this pack myself. Step aside, everyone. Now that we're all in the tunnel, we can get some help from Mr. Alex Dargon, who... What do you mean you can't help me? I have a gun for you, you fucking asshole. Anyway, Daniel happily obliged. Even though he was an asshole to my dad earlier, he gladly accepted a gun from me to defend us. Now that we are ready to make our grand escape to the Citadel, I actually got a bit of luck my way, as the section where Dr. Lee is supposed to unlock the 2 blast doors was actually, well, it didn't happen because they were already unlocked. I'm not sure why or how it happened because this has never happened to me before in the 30 runs I played this game. But I took what I got because, hey, you never know how lucky you can get in this game. The only resistance I met while escaping through the tunnels were a bunch of slap-happy ghouls. I wasn't sure why they were so attracted to me. It must have been the cologne I put on this morning. But soon their world was about to go crashing down as they were met with turrets and a flamer. I knew the Brotherhood presence was close, but unfortunately the soldier that was helping us fend off the ghouls did not fare so well. You should probably blame the Brotherhood for only putting 1 guy down here, and he was only just an initiate. He was basically set up to die. Don't worry, my friend, the world will not forget your sacrifice. As soon as we left the Taft tunnels, an all-out war broke out, and unfortunately we got another casualty, as Dr. Alex Dargon fell during combat. That's what you get for not helping us, you little faggot. Dr. Lee continued crying on her knees and like an SJW got what she wanted just by whining. So now we have access to the Citadel and all its amenities. Fuck, I don't know how to say that word. The first order of business is getting power armor training. We never know when we could use power armor in this game, especially when we're running around past enemies, so we'll need the extra protection. It's good to have anyway. Next stop was the armory, where I just had to offload a lot of the items that I had carried up until this point but could not sell. And finally we can continue with the main quest. Our next goal in our quest is to discover where we might find a Gek, and that Gek is in Vault 87, the vault full of super mutants and FEV. But there's only one way to get to that vault, and that way is through Little Lamplight, as the front door was inconveniently destroyed by a head-on nuclear blast. Luckily, Little Lamplight is very close to Smith Casey's garage, so all I have to do is fast travel. On the way there, I saw a Brotherhood outcast who unfortunately was killed, so I took his armor and then assumed the new role as a Brotherhood outcast. Every day, we grow ever so stronger. Down with Elder Lyons and his foolish beliefs. But anyways, enough about that, it's time to continue my quest. I found Little Lamplight a few minutes later, and received a very unwarm welcome from Mayor McCready. He told me that since I was an adult, there was no way I could find my way inside. So I had to strike a deal with him and rescue the 3 little dipshit kids that got caught by slavers over in Paradise Falls. I was really in for it now. I just want to get into the goddamn vault. Why is that so difficult? There was no other way I could get into Little Lamplight, so arguing with McCready was out of the question. I had to save these children, and by God, I will do it, even if it costs me my life. I fast traveled to Northwest Seneca Station, which is pretty close to Paradise Falls. I feared that I was going to be ambushed by Talent Company mercs, and my fear was right. This is a pretty popular spawn point for them. But regardless, I equipped my power armor and just ran away from them. I got hit pretty good a few times, but it still didn't stop me. Closing in on Paradise Falls, I saw a familiar face. It's Lucky Harith, and I think he took a little too much jet this time around. But regardless, I was happy to see him. I was more so happy to see the caps that he had to offer. Unfortunately, there's no free ticket to Paradise Falls. To gain access to this place, I have to enslave at least 1 character in the game. This was a pretty easy task for me because I didn't give a shit about any of the characters in this game. So I decided to enslave Flack from Rivet City because he was a former slaver. Also, I don't like his stupid fucking mustache, so he deserves to be enslaved for that anyway. Now that we have access to Paradise Falls, we'll need to locate the 3 children that are somewhere around here. Hopefully they haven't been sold by now. As for my skills, I decided to just finally max out Sneak, put some points in Medicine, and then Barter. And I went for Toughness just to throw a little wild card into the mix because we will be taking some damage throughout this run. The children are actually in this far side over here in this pen with all the other prisoners. I was actually going to negotiate with Eulogy Jones, the leader, to buy these children for 2,000 caps, but I thought, you know what? This reverse pickpocket run would not be complete without me exploding all these different slavers into bits. So I did a complete 180 and decided to just kill everyone here. And really, I just changed my mind because I saw this juicy camp of slavers just standing around and I knew I had to strike while the iron was hot. So I was able to get 3 easy kills from this one little scenario of all these slavers just standing by the roasted Brahmin, but you'll see that right after this it just becomes a little annoying, because these enemies just running around like crackheads sets me off. Especially because you can't even pickpocket some of them in caution mode. It's very random sometimes, I've noticed. Sometimes you can pickpocket an enemy that's in caution mode and other times you can't. And it's weird because sometimes it's that same enemy. I don't know, it's just very strange. I'm not sure how the sneak system works in this game. It's like the ocean, it's mostly undiscovered and nobody knows what the fuck's going on. Remember when I told you numerous times that the sneak system in this game was bullshit? Well, here's a pretty good example. I have maxed out sneak, maxed out luck and agility, and I have a stealth boy, and this slaver just so happens to know that I'm pickpocketing him. How the hell is that possible? But you know what? It's just a small rock in the road. It's no big deal. But really, what the f— Unfortunately, my stealth boy ran out here and I had to pop another one. I really didn't like that idea because that was 2 good stealth boys gone to waste. But then I realized that this was a pretty doable mission because there weren't that many enemies, and of course I could always run past the ones that I can't kill. Regardless, it's time to pay a visit to Flava Flav, who's hiding out in his base with his 2 prostitutes. Now I'm going to make his whole world come crashing down as he realizes he's not the only guy with an edge. But it's best to be careful because he can detect you with a high perception. And so ended the story of Eulogy Jones, who died the same way he lived, getting blown. Fortunately, no one will be there at your funeral because you were a scumbag. Outside the compound, I was happy to know that the enemy I couldn't pickpocket earlier could now be pickpocketed. Pretty strange, but I took it either way, but there were still some more enemies guarding the compound, including 40, so I just unlocked the cage to let the kids go free anyway as a failsafe. But I still wanted to get those kills anyway, so I stuck around with the stealth boy dwindling. Unfortunately, I couldn't get 40, because he's a stubborn bastard and my stealth boy ran out right in front of him. So that was my cue to just get the fuck out of there. I thought the children already made a run for it, but I was wrong. Despite having unlimited health and being nearly indestructible in a Bethesda game, the children were scared to escape, so I had to engage in dialogue just for them to run away. It was really annoying, but at the same time I still had this quest in the bag. All I had to do was pop some med-X and buff out, and just run out of there. And here you'll see I'm getting a bit too cocky as I was taunting 40 holding this trash can in front of me, pretending that it was going to block the bullets, but you know, I thought playtime's over, I'm just going to run my ass out of here, loot some of the slavers that I'm near, and just, put some buffs on, and my better armor. The power armor was basically, destroyed. Power armor is really weak in this game, unless we're talking about the T-51B set, or the winterized set, that pretty notorious set of armor you get from beating Operation Anchorage, because it has unlimited condition health. Seriously, Bethesda basically added a 0 to the health of the item condition for the T-51B, and it's basically indestructible. But I think they decided to just leave that in the game because I guess that was funny. And also, why not, you know? But, Groucho, or Gestapo, or whatever the fuck this guy's name is, asked me if I wanted some more, but I said no thanks. I had to run away, and I had a date with the super mutants in Vault 87. The kids escaped through the manhole inside that bathroom next to the pens, and all was well. Paradise Falls was not so impenetrable after all. Now that I've rescued the children and they're unharmed and safe, I can finally go back to McCready where he'll let me into Little Lamplight. Now we can tackle Vault 87, and really it's not as difficult as you think it is. It's actually really trivial. Running away from these enemies here at Paradise Falls that weren't worth killing is just a small taste of what's going to happen in Vault 87. We're just going to run away. That's it. From the time we step into Murder Pass to the very end of Vault 87 where we're captured by the Enclave, we're just going to run. Because enemies don't do that much damage. And, I mean, there's no purpose to killing any of the enemies in Vault 87 because we're not going to be backtracking. We're doing a one-way trip. Also, have you guys noticed that the only way to Vault 87 is through Little Lamplight? Isn't that really strange? I mean, the super mutants bring human prisoners to Little Lamplight to dip them into FEV. So how do they get to Vault 87 if the front door is destroyed? They would have to go through Little Lamplight. Are the children working with the super mutants? Anyway, that's a strange game theory. But anyway, this super mutant got a taste of lead as he exploded, and his boyfriend over here around the corner went to go check on him. Of course, I couldn't sneak past this guy, even though my sneak was pretty goddamn high. And my luck was pretty high as well. Maxed out to be exact, but he immediately saw me through the corner of his eye. So, yep, let the running begin. But seriously though, I can't stop thinking about that theory. Is that why Little Lamplight hasn't gotten attacked? I mean, what's stopping the super mutants by going through this little fucking plywood wall and just blasting them all to bits? I think the super mutants are working with the kids in Little Lamplight. I mean, they're probably the children are probably just bringing them humans or leading them astray, thinking they're going to, find safe shelter. But they give them to the super mutants, and in exchange, the super mutants leave them alone. That's the theory. That's a pretty common theory among a lot of different people, and I think that's true. I really think that they're working together, and that's disturbing. I really like this subtle storytelling that Bethesda's giving us. Really, hats off to them. And like I said before, all we're going to do is run. Just ignore all the super mutants. It's fine. They're just going to act like retards like always and be like, "Rah, smashy, smashy." But, just heal up here if you're on low health, because we'll be taking quite a bit of damage. And just running through the vault. You don't want to do this quest when you're a high level at all. You always want to do any quests involving super mutants at a lower level if you have Broken Steel installed. If you have Broken Steel installed and you're high level, then the really OP enemies will be spawned into the game. The big three, the Albino Rad Scorpion, the Feral Ghoul Reaver, and the Super Mutant Overlord, which is a huge pain in the ass. And if you are, I believe, at least level 20... the Super Mutant Overlords will spawn in Vault 87, in this atrium especially. They become very common, and they're very annoying because they use the fucking Tri-Beam laser rifle, which is absolutely annoying. I can't even put into words how annoying that weapon is. Like, let's have a laser rifle, and let's make it shoot 3 times at once. But anyway, I'm not upset. I'm not tilted. Here's Fox. He's, begging us to open the door, but we're not going to do that because we don't need Fox. The Vault 87 hallway can easily be traversed with some Rad-X and Radaway, and there's even a spot in the hallway that we can situate ourselves in and not take any radiation damage. You'll see here in a second. Obviously, I'm going to be irradiated here, but the door leading to the Gek, if we situate ourselves perfectly, you'll notice right there I didn't take any damage. But if I just back up a little more, I take 7 and then 1. But if I had backed up a little more, I would have been fine. But 1 radiation per second. The super mutants followed me here into the hallway. I was not expecting that because when I did this run for the first time, that never happened. They sort of just stayed back and they waited for me. But sometimes the AI is unpredictable, but that's okay. I just shut the doors on them. Just going through a few more halls now and we'll be near the end of the game with the final battle against the Enclave. In a cruel, ironic twist I wasn't expecting, it looked like the super mutants were working with the Enclave all along. They were in cahoots with these neo-fascists that hated anything mutated. And here they were, these little bastards, sitting there smug over my collapsed body as they took the Gek from my hands. I woke up at Raven Rock to the ugly mug of Colonel Autumn who demanded I give him the password to Project Purity, but I decided to play a little game by giving him the wrong password, which would blow up the purifier and anyone surrounding it. This was pretty funny and an epic gamer moment because one of his men ended up exploding. Colonel Autumn, now devastated, knowing that he was responsible for the loss of his own man, chastised me and threatened to shoot me, but luckily I was saved by President Eden. I was grateful for President Eden because unlike that clout-chasing piece of fucking shit 3-Dog, President Eden told stories of the old days of America, filling all of the listeners with nostalgia, longing for the old pre-war America that once was. He gave the Enclave and his listeners purpose to rebuild America and recreate what was lost many years ago, while 3-Dog just acted like a coon. It's 3-Dog! Oh! 3-Dog was the typical spectator, offering no solutions for the problems that we were living in everyday life, but instead chastised others and judged others from his little radio station in the middle of the DC ruins. Yeah, we get it, you live a hard life, now stop complaining. You got your 15 minutes of fame, now sit down. All this hate for 3-Dog didn't allow me to explain all my skills and perks, but you have a set of eyes, so I'm sure you can see what I'm doing. I ventured out in my next quest to find the elusive, enigmatic president by running through this little base. And like a real brother, he helped me by turning the security on his own troops. That's cold-blooded. After running and dodging through much of the base, I finally came face to face with the president of the Enclave himself. Face to face for lack of a better term, since he was actually a supercomputer. He decided to spill the beans and tell me that there was not much time left. He explained that he no longer trusted Colonel Autumn because they didn't see eye to eye anymore. Colonel Autumn wanted to rule the Wasteland with an iron fist, and President Eden, further proving why he's one of the best characters in this game, and better than 3-Dog, wanted to see the Wasteland flourish in his vision. But in order to do that, we would have to purge all of the mutants in this wasteland. The easiest way to go about accomplishing this goal was taking the modified FEV that President Eden would later give us. Then we would insert that into the purifier, poisoning all of the Potomac River's water supply. This would end up killing any super mutants, ghouls, and mutated humans that drank the water. I was appalled at this dastardly plan. So much that I agreed to it. I can't wait to get 3-Dog's reaction when he finds out that I used my father's lifelong project to annihilate over half of the wasteland, simply because a computer told me to. But before any celebrations could be had, I had to finish my escape from Raven Rock, and I just crippled my limbs. If you freed Fox, then he'll be out here with a Gatling laser going ham on all these Enclave soldiers. But on this run, we left him rotting in the cell. Back at the Citadel, I saw Sarah Lyons arguing with her father and Scribe Rothschild. She immediately wanted to go to war with the Enclave because they took the Jefferson Memorial and it was only a matter of time before they found the password. Really, I couldn't care what the Enclave did with the Purifier, but since Sentinel Lyons was a Warhawk, we had no choice. So it was time to suit up. I decided to take the full set of recon armor. It's surprisingly pretty strong. It has a very high damage resistance. And I saw Liberty Prime in all of his glory getting ready for battle for the first time. But this is the last time I'm going to be hyped because this battle is really boring. It's all spectacle and really no action. But after this small scene, we're going to level up for the last time, and really we can throw our points into anything. I decided to just put it into medicine because, I mean, what else is there to put him in? And you'll notice that I have a high karma even though I've been stealing so much, and I have killed some innocents along the way. But once again, the karma system is kookily in this game, and I'm glad it's gone in Fallout 4. So while we increase our medicine all the way up, we're also going to choose intense training as our perk. Surprise, surprise, right? So for the first part of the battle, I just sat back and waited for Liberty Prime to start throwing the football. Really, there isn't a lot of resistance because most of the Enclave soldiers are either destroyed by the incoming Brotherhood Knights, or Liberty Prime just laser beams them all to hell. Really, this is just a dangerous walking simulator. This battle is really boring. I can't stress it enough, so just run, loot some bodies if you have to. But there aren't a lot of obstacles in front of us now. We can almost rejoice as the game is nearing its end. All that's in front of us are the Enclave soldiers, but we can just continue running past them so we can face the final battle between Colonel Autumn. Not the hypest final battle in a Fallout game, but it would do. Fallout was never about bosses anyways. Unfortunately, I'm going to bore you all once more as we're just going to run past everyone. Yet again. I know, fun. But it's necessary because, well, it's not needed. So I just shut the door on the Enclave, as I will figuratively later. But there's a guy in Tesla armor too, I just noticed. Their plasma weapons hurt, but they don't follow us into the Memorial Rotunda, so that's a good thing. Of course, I also get my torso crippled. But now, here's the final showdown between me and Colonel Autumn and his two thugs. This is going to be a hard fight to sneak because there's really no space in this entire area to sneak or find a hiding spot to fall down to caution and hidden. So I'm going to have to use my wits about myself to find a way to pickpocket Colonel Autumn. See, this door is locked, so I can only stay up here. And now I can sneak my way in to try to get into it. Okay, I wasn't expecting that, but it seems that Sentinel Lyons came to play today. She's not fucking around. She really backs up her shit talk. And I'm just going to sit here and just let her take down these Tesla-armored enemies. Well, that's an anticlimactic ending with the main Enclave bad guy, but we're going to have to deal with it because I'm in no power to do anything. I don't have any stealth boys on me, and it doesn't exactly count as me killing someone by other means. It's not like I wanted to bring Sentinel Lyons with me. But oh shit. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Oh. Why am I getting scared narrating something that I survived? It makes no sense. But anyway, there's nothing more to say. Sentinel Lyons just mops the floor with these two Enclave soldiers. She gets up from her coma in a near instant and takes care of the other guy. Now we could proceed with the ending. Now the only thing standing between me and completion was turning the water purifier on. I decided that I would do it because it would only make sense that I would complete my father's legacy. I was going to be remembered forever as a Wasteland legend, a hero of the people. So I poisoned the water supply. You think you muty bastards will be getting free clean water? Think again. The next time you go for a drink out of the river, you'll truly be tested if you're worthy or not. If you don't shit your guts out within 24 hours, then congratulations, you're Enclave material. You get to be a part of the new fucked up future that I've created for you all. At least that's what that Clout Chaser 3 dog will say. He'll probably whine and complain that everyone around him is dying, but I see that as a good thing. We don't want another Great War on our hands now, do we? And that's Fallout 3 completed by only using reverse pickpocketing to defeat enemies. If you've gotten this far into the video, I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it wasn't that boring. This run wasn't as exciting as I anticipated it to be, but of course it had its moments. Nonetheless, I was glad to have played Fallout 3 again after a very long time. It's very nostalgic to me. It just brings back a lot of memories of playing Fallout for the first time, and being new to the series. And I can't believe it's been so long since I started playing Fallout. But regardless, I don't mean to get sappy on you all, but once again, thank you for watching if you got this far. See you next time.